Alright, you all know Collide here. Everybody, hi Collide. How are you doing? So now let's get into the details of Withered Bonnie here. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to do this to the pleats here. We're going to open up the model slightly, or at least try to get these pleats unfolded like this. And then you'll fold them down like this. And this one, so it's mounts folded right on the top here. And then I'm gonna basically keep the arm folded out, but it's kind of like doing, I guess, a series of, I don't know, I want to say inside reverse folds, but the technique, if you folded Satoshi Kamiya's Ancient Dragon before, you should be, or his Wizard, I can also say, you should be familiar with this technique that I use a lot for pleats like these. Be sure it's nice and flattened. Okay, so now once I get like that, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, just right here. So again, I'm just gonna unfold it. Then fold this part down, and you'll already have creases set up for this, but you'll notice, like, I don't think you can see it, but you'll have like creases of like these triangles zigzagging up and down like this, and you'll mainly try and use them to get the pleats here. Okay, so then we got that part done. And now for the next part here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of do something a little bit similar. This is a little bit easier. But what I'm gonna do is I'll take this upper layer out, kind of unsync it like this. And then I'll basically cause it to turn to a pleat that looks like this right here. So if I can show closely on this one side, it's doing that triangle shape thing again, right here on both sides, just like so. And then right here, I'm gonna do the same thing on this front layer, like so. Now on this next part, I will focus on Withered Bonnie's right arm, because both arms are actually going to be different. So the first one is pretty straightforward, except we want to get the little shoulder pauldron that I kind of see Withered Bonnie kind of having. To do this, I'm actually going to sink it, like push it right underneath like this, but it's going to also fold this part down, connecting from the other side. So you'll get this kind of shape right underneath it. You'll inside reverse fold it a bit like this, and it's not going to stick out too much because it's a little bit small, but you just want to make it look good on his shoulder. But you'll see that this part is folded in like this, so it makes it round because it's not like a knight's pauldron. When I think of it like that. I'm also going to fold this part behind too. In case if it had that, just do so, because we do want to narrow the arm quite a good amount. And then right here, we'll kind of do a classic thing with the fingers, just a bunch of inside reverse folds, just right here, being sure they're nice and narrowed with the arm flap. And you'll do this about 3 times to create 4 fingers, including the thumb. So once I get that, the thing you'll do with the arm then from here is that you'll like fold this right underneath, like right here. Or at least you'll do like a rabbit ear fold where you pinch the arm like this, and you'll fold it right underneath the pauldron so it can actually show up a little bit better like this. And then from here you'll just detail the hand by just like spraying them out a little bit. You want to give it like a claw effect because it should be like underneath, like shows, it's like the skeleton of the animatronic's hand. Just kind of think about it like that when you detail it, just like that. So then for the other arm, it's going to be a lot different. Well, except for this first part, of course, because it's going to be the same thing where you'll sink this underneath. You'll fold this down like this, and then fold it up while also pulling it right into the pauldron like this to help round it. And it also looks good too. This pauldron is a really small flap right there. And then right here, you'll then do another, this is where it's going to be different now. You'll do another rabbit ear fold right underneath. It's pretty thick, as I would just need to mention. But you'll fold it down like this. And then from here, really the main goal is to make it look like the wires that comes out of Withered Bonnie's left arm. Because of course his arm has been taken off for some kind of reason. I think for, well anyways, but you'll like spread it apart, maybe do some inside reverse folds, which I'm not going to do that right now because it'll take forever just to get it right. Try to make it look like the wires that come out of Withered Bonnie's left arm right here, which I think I did okay with in this version, but oh well. Well, on this next part here, the first thing I'm going to do before we actually move on to the actual legs, I need to first fold these layers like this. Then I'm going to inside reverse fold this part here underneath the belly. And then I'm going to basically wrap this around, although it's going to be more of a close sink like this here. So then you can get this part formed right around. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, just like this. Where I'll get those layers formed like that first. Inside reverse fold underneath the belly. And then take this flap and close sink it right underneath. Upon getting this part, you mostly just round it, just not make it look blocky. I'm not going to worry about that. So let me move on to this side of the leg here, which again, both just like the arms, both sides of his feet are going to be different than one another. So what you'll do is you'll first open squash this part right here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out right underneath. I'm going to push it and let it go on this part right here. Just like this. The feet is going to fold out maybe just a little bit right here. And then you'll pull this part right behind. So then for this side of the leg here, with the feet details, you're mostly just going to do like these inside reverse folds. Just something like this. Just twice. And you would like fold them up like this. You're doing a little pinch on around the leg. And then you spread the feet apart like this. And round them too. And being sure it's not too big where it's making the legs too short. And you'll otherwise like just round around here and all that. And there you go. So now for this side, it'll be only a little bit different. although this part's still the same, just do the spread squash right here. Pull this up and just push right here into this flap right on top of here. And get it just like this, so you're creating this here. You'll have this part folded down like this, like so, or you'll then fold it right behind. Just like this. Now, the different thing about this side of the leg is that you're actually going to do a series of inside reverse folds like you do in the hands, because this will help differentiate the feats of Withered Bonnie. Because he definitely has both of his feet being a little bit different than the other. You have it like this, and you'll fold it up like this, kind of doing the same kind of detailing, and spread them like this. And yeah, something like that. Just be sure, especially around this section where it is showing off, still just because it's supposed to be like the mechanical part for Bonnie's hips. And as you would see with the other animatronics. Now for the head, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pull this up like this. Just once, so I'll just do a little bit of some box playing techniques on the sides, or something, I don't know. But just stretch it up like this. And on this part, we're going to first try and get Bonnie's lower chin. So I'm actually going to unfold these out like this. And you kind of see me do a similar trick to this a lot, where I like to pull certain parts. What I mean is that I'm trying to pull this bottom part for basically Withered Bonnie's bottom jaw, which he still has, of course. But of course, the rest of his face has been like taken off, which trying to get that in origami was generally difficult to do, I will point out. Yeah, so like just maybe just something right around here. He doesn't really have a neck, and I didn't really worry about giving him teeth, but it's probably possible with the base anyways. But get something on the bottom part, maybe a little bit like this. And now, I will create like the little, like, I guess you could kind of give him some teeth. What I'll do is I'll actually push this down a little bit more to kind of create a bottom pleats for what would pretty much be like the inner tooth of the animatronic, which you could easily see with Withered Bonnie. So it gives something like this here. So you're almost kind of creating a mouth. What you'll do for the eyes is that you'll pleat this part down like this, being sure that the head isn't too strong pins. Just be sure the head is like tall enough, but not super tall. Something like this here, and then on the sides, I'm actually gonna hold these down. Like this, so you're kind of creating these smaller flaps on the sides, which are actually going to help with creating the side parts of Withered Bonnie's head to make it look like his face has been taken off. I'll do something like this here, and then for around the eyes, you're going to be basically you're trying to create like a hole for the eyes, which is the best thing I can do. So kind of try doing something like this, where you'll first pull this part in, I mean these sides in, on the head. So you'll kind of create this shape here. And this part you'll have to maybe play around. It might be easier to kind of sort of open sync the sides and then push these parts up. With some playing around though, you can actually get the eyes to well, at least the little dots he has, those that are supposed to be where his eyes are supposed to be, but this isn't my best take on his face though. But be sure that they're tall enough away from the mouth. You can get something like this here. But of course we're not done with the head quite yet. Before I'm gonna pull these sides out like this. I'm also gonna spread squash the top parts of the ears to widen them like that. I'm also gonna pull this part out a little bit more too to stick it out. So like I'm kind of like closing the back a little bit around here. And then I'm gonna fold this part behind. This will help lock the ears if I do it this way. And yeah, so this one looks super good, especially since I'm kind of trying to finish up here. But I'll do the same thing on this side, where you're kind of just wrapping this part almost around, where you're not narrowing the ears, because I actually do want the ears to be a little bit wider. And then yeah, and then like right here, his forehead is kind of tall, and what I end up doing is I actually pinch these parts down like this. Almost kind of remind me a little bit Darth Vader, to be honest, on this kind of fold, but that's okay. But you'll do something like this, just be sure that's you are getting these edge flaps sticking out, like pretty just out there a little bit, just trying to be sure it looks like his face is taken off. And yeah, the inside of his face isn't the best, but you'll kind of get the idea. And then his ears aren't that difficult, of course, just maybe fold them down a little just to do that, at least based on the image I used. He does has his ears folded out, but yeah, and then that's basically all the details I can show for Withered Bonnie. And for the final details, I will very quickly, with the snap of my finger, give him the final details to show off in 3, 2, 1, just like that. So, and this is actually a separate fold I did with him. But these are the final results for Withered Bonnie, where this time around I did a little bit better with the head here. Of course, this was just more times just to fold them, but anyways, but this is what he'll end up looking like from the result. I rounded his belly, kind of rounded pretty much a lot of things as much as I can without overdoing it. But that is how you fold Origami Withered Bonnie. And so I hope you enjoy folding him, and I'll see you for another model coming up. So, thank you.